Alright, just playing a little blues rock there. I'm going to continue my blues rock session from last time, and this is John Falstrom coming to you from Melody Mart, my home studio here in Homewood, Illinois. It's August 13th, 2012, and I left off last time, and I want to finish this. It's kind of bothering me about blues rock, and my example, my last video was an E, and the chords I was using in that was E major, G major, and A major, which are typical blues rock chords. E major, G major, A major. So we're in the key of E major, E blues. Okay, now what E blues means, now if you're a beginner, just hang on again for the ride, because you're probably not going to know a lot of this stuff. Blues means you're adding a flat third to the key of E, which would be G. So remember that note G. And you're adding a note D. G is a flat third, D is a flat 7 on the bass. D, G, D and G. Remember those two notes. So you got the E major scale. We're in the key of E major, but we're going to add the flat third, G. I'm going to still play the major third. G sharp, A, B, C sharp, put the D in there, keep the D sharp, E major scale. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to add the flat third, which is G. Keep the major third, G sharp, A, B, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, C sharp major 6, D flat 7, D sharp major 7, back to your root. Okay, we got to figure out, like a typical song would be G major. Now we go to a G major chord. That's a G major chord, which is the flat 3. That's going to be used as a chord in the key of E major. We got A here. So let's deal with these three chords. E, again, on my last video, I was telling you that we want to kind of highlight the two blue notes, G and D. Now the way to do this is you take your E and stay in playing an E major scale. Don't want to do that in blues. You play the E Mixolydian mode because that's got the flat 7. But to really see it, you want to play your Dorian mode, E Dorian. Root 2 flat 3. There's your G. I'm just playing it here. Here's a G, that G. So I'm going to go like this. I'll play it a different way. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. This way you get both blue notes. You got the G, the flat third, and you got the D. So you're only going to play E Dorian on that E chord. Come up with a riff or do nothing. But if you want to riff on that E chord, play the Dorian. I'll tell you, when you play a minor pentatonic scale, which a lot of people do on that in the key of E, for the key of E they play for a solo, that's just inside the Dorian mode. These notes, it's a root, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat 7, 8. Or root, you can play the flat third, here's your G, instead of here, and E, G, A, B, D, E. So your minor pentatonic scale is really the Dorian mode. Remember that. E minor pentatonic is just something you substitute that for what you really want to play is the E Dorian. It's D, E Dorian. It's coming from the E Dorian mode. You're leaving out the second and the major 6, which you probably shouldn't want to do. You want to use all 7 notes in the key in the mode. Okay, so if this is the Dorian mode, here's what we got to do. If this is Dorian mode, normally in a major key, Dorian is played on the 2 chord. Well, this is blues. We're adding 2 notes to our key. So we got the G, the flat third, flat 7. So what we want to do is we're going to kind of break this up into 7-note groups, the modal system. So if we play Dorian on E, that means we're going to play, when we go to D, which this chord is used to, D major, the flat 7. D would be 2. Now think of D as 1. So you're actually playing the modes in D. So E blues is the modes in D. So you play a D major scale here. So if you think D major scale, now you got the E Dorian. That down at E Dorian makes sense. And when you get to that G chord, which is the 4 chord, you would play the Lydian mode. So on this G chord, when the band goes to that G, you're of thinking Lydian. If you don't know the Lydian mode, I would learn it ASAP. That's the Lydian mode. The Lydian mode is a major scale with a sharp 4. See? Root 2, 3, sharp 4. Dave, can they see that, you think?
Yeah, there we go.
Get that sharp 4. Get that sharp 4, that Lydian mode. Right there, that C sharp. That's a key note. Because what happens is, the only difference between E blues, or E blues, and E minor is that 6th note. Blues uses the major 6th note. E minor would use the minor 6. So that C sharp is so critical in the key of E, or major 6, which the C sharp is. Now if you played a C, you would be an E minor. So what it means is the only difference between E major blues and E minor is the flat 6. So if you went to a C, that means you're an E minor now. You're not playing E blues anymore. So that C sharp, that's why we want that C sharp on that G chord, the flat 3. And that gives us a Lydian mode, and that's why you got the sharp 4, you got the C sharp. We don't want that C. If we play the C, we're in E minor. Alright, so let's continue on. So we're on E Dorian. We got the G chord, we got the Lydian mode here. Because remember, blues, think a whole step down, a key, the key. So you're in E blues. If you want to, when you want to think of it as in modals, what you want to do, the modal terms, go down a whole step, and you're in the key of D major now. And that explains everything. That explains the E Dorian, because that's the 2. Now, if you go to a D chord, which happens a lot, E, D, A. So, what do we do on that D chord? Well, that D chord is your major scale. You would improvise on a major scale on D. Because you got, watch, D, E, F sharp, G, there's your blue note, in the key of E, G and D. D, there's one blue note, G is the other blue note. C sharp, right there. That's why you want to play the major scale. You don't want the C natural. That would be the mixed Lydian C. You want to stay away from that C natural. You gotta have strategy. You gotta have a plan. Don't play the C natural. That's the flat 6. So when you're in a major blues key, don't play the flat 6, because that puts you in the minor key. Okay, so there's your D major scale, E Dorian. Now you get to that A chord, the 4 chord, chord progression. G, A, right there. A. You play the mixed Lydian mode. Why? Simply, you go down that whole step, slide to your major key. You're in E blues. Now we're in D major, diatonic. Diatonic means just the 7 notes of the scale. A is the 5. That's the mixed Lydian mode. So on the A chord, you got the mixed Lydian. Lydian to mixed Lydian. The flat 3 chord in E is G. So you're kind of thinking in 2 keys at once here. And A major. A major is your mixed Lydian. Alright, so you got, let's go over. Your 1 chord, play your Dorian for improvise. Your 4 chord, or flat 3 chord is G. Play the Lydian. Mixed Lydian on A. The key note, right there, D. You're actually in the key of D major diatonically, because that's your blue note, D and G. D and G are your blue notes in the key of E blues. D major scale on the flat 7. Always remember that. Play a D major scale or a major scale on the flat 7. Then you can see the whole picture there. Then you play your modes in D. Alright. Now I know this is very pretty advanced stuff. So just study, know your notes. And you can email me any questions at EADG4.com. I'm the author of EADG4 Theory Textbook. So you can just email me any questions. I'm always happy to talk bass anytime, 24/7. Okay, it's August 13, 2012, and I'm John Falstrom, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.